Morning. I'm coming to you with my pyjamas and dressing gown on because you get the real me. So here we go. And when I'm kind of pulled to give out a message, then I'm just going to go for it and give it. I'm not going to make myself look nice in order to pass on a message. I mean, it's really not important, is it? Where to start? Okay, here we go. So if I'm triggered in any way about things that I'm seeing, then I'm going to share it. I feel like that's my role. I feel like I am a vehicle for divine grace. So the message isn't coming from me, it's coming from the divine through me. So I'm passing it on. Who am I to get in the way of that? So this is a message I feel for those that are awakening, and there's something here for those that are already awakened too, because it's a tricky one. And awaken seems such a funny word, because we're constantly awakening, otherwise we're not growing and our consciousness isn't expanding. But when you get to like certain points where, because there's another collective mass awakening going on again now, they're happening more and more often, which is great. But it is chaotic, and it does stir up a lot of emotion and a lot of mental stuff. So, excuse me, clearing my throat. Spirit want me to get on with the message. So here we go. I'm just going to tap into the energies coming through the cards. I literally sat here and shuffled, and I sat here for myself this morning. It's Sunday. Sunday's generally my day of rest to myself, and well, mostly anyway. And I started to pull some oracle cards just to tap in really to myself at a deeper level, and see what's going on. And I just got the nudge to bring a message to the collective. So the cards here that I've shuffled and have flown out, I mean, they're ridiculously cohesive. So here we go. And the first message is of clearing. So there's, when you're going through seeing horror, which is going on constantly, but at the moment it's a lot, with all the Epstein files that have come out. Well, not all of them, let's face it, they're giving you what they want to show you, but anyhow, it's a lot. And I won't talk about myself, but I kind of have to talk about my experience a little bit in order to share, because I always come from a place of experience. So here we go, and that's how I can relate and how you can relate to me. So when you're going through seeing more, becoming more conscious, and this is of the darkness, right, and of what's going on behind the scenes, it's painful. It's so painful. It's shocking. Number one, it's shocking, and it hurts, and you start to grieve. You are sad. You cannot believe the atrocities and the evil that goes on, and to the most purest of souls, which are our children, because that's what the dark needs. It doesn't have any light of its own, it doesn't have a soul of its own, so evil uses the most purest way of getting to a soul. And we, and the females, the feminine energy, I mean, they've been feeding off the feminine energy for I don't know how long. Anyhow, when you're going through this, it's hideous. You literally are crying for everything and everybody, and society is built on history, information that you've been fed, and when you find out that all of this is not true and a lot darker, and the people that are supposed to be looking after a society are the very ones damaging, controlling and abusing it. So it's super, super painful, and it's a clearing though. So to every atrocity there's a blessing. So this is clearing. People wouldn't be seeing this level of darkness unless it for a reason. So yes, there are elements to things being released, and to the media and the governments and the people above them, the shadow governments, releasing things at certain times too, in order to take the light off of another issue that's going on, in order to create more fear, so that people become anxious and destabilized. But within that, it has a blessing that they are making people more conscious. and they're not actually doing it, the divine light's doing it, but it's a whole thing that goes on at the same time, super complex. But basically clearing is happening in order for transformation to occur. Now, not every single person will transform, because some people will get a hint of what's going on and they'll close their eyes, they'll look away because they can't handle it. That's too much. It's hurting me, it's triggering me, and it's causing me to I'm gonna have to change my whole mindset, my life, my relationships. And it's hard, but some people will choose not to look. I know people that have chosen not to look. So it's a bit frustrating when I'm seeing people out there that have awakened, possibly in 2020 when it all really kicked off again. And they're kind of acting, a lot of people are acting like, oh, I've been there, done that. Don't look at it. Don't feed into the fear. It's loose for the evil. You're only going to bring yourselves down. We need to create new. Yeah, we need to create new, but you can't create new without seeing the old burn down. You can't, and that's within yourself. You know, you can't, how are you supposed to start something new if you're completely comfortable where you are? Or, you know, or to change like really deeply ingrained patterns that have been going on for decades. If you can't see that what you have been aligned to has been a lie, has been false, has been evil. So, you know, we need to honour everybody going through awakening right now to a deeper level of knowing, because everyone needs support. We need to pull together. So this is clearing. Now, I don't want to just talk about the what's gone on or what's going on. I want to give you strategies to help you that have helped me. For me, my go-to is nature. You know, we were blessed in a way during the COVID crap, the lies, the pandemic, because they stopped flying their planes. A lot of planes stopped flying, so they stopped their chemtrails, they stopped their weather modification, and the sun was never brighter, and so many people were outside because they weren't working. So they were trying to force people into the houses to create fear, but what they did was put people in the sunshine and the sun was beaming down, and that is an intense light that us as physical beings on this earth need in order to synthesize, right? So everything they do, they think that they've got one up, and they haven't, because the light's always brighter. The divine, it can beat any level of dark and evil. So we are seeing this letting go, this cleansing. And my advice for those who are struggling or consuming all the darkness, and that's okay because that's just how it has to be, get outside. And I know the weather's not good. And this February, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but in the UK, in the part that I'm in, the sun is trying to come through. The sun is trying to come through, and it's just hazy, because they have been spraying the skies every day, and it's been raining every day. God, it does get on your, I don't want to say your nerves, but it does. It gets on your nerves. This is a thing we say because our nervous systems are ragged. Anyhow, my point here as well is so that your nervous systems don't become ragged, so that everything, all the darkness that you're seeing and you're starting to tap into, and is being there's friction in you on every level, your emotions, your mental bodies, your physical body, your spiritual self, all of that is coming up needs to be able to be cleared. So you need to be doing constant clearing. Now you can do this, the most easiest way is by walking in nature, by if you've got bodies of water that are natural, not chlorinated, but are natural, get to them if you can. Water is deeply cleansing. You know, I picked up these two cards. Well, I didn't pick them up, they came out. We have Stonehenge and we have Varanasi. So we have here, obviously Stonehenge isn't water, but there's water on this card, water at the bottom. Look at this, the dragons at the bottom. And this is about connecting into the earth energies. So connecting to the elements, get out there, walk in nature, cry if you need to, talk, you know, as you're walking along, and let go. Because as the energy dissipates into the ground, you're also recharged. But grounding is really, really important. And clearing also. There are energetic exercises. There's physical, you know, walking barefoot, exercising. And also on an energetic realm, if you put your roots down into the earth. So, excuse me, I'm talking a lot. So if you were to sit and you were just to imagine roots coming down from your spine, through your legs, through your feet and into the earth below you, and get those roots as deep as you can. And clearing as well. I mean, there's protection exercises also you can do, which is, let's keep this really simple. I mean, there are so many facets and ways you can do this, but let's keep it super simple, is by putting an egg of light around you, your auric field. And there's ways of tapping it into it and see what's going on and seeing where the tears are, seeing where the holes are. But I've got only so much time here because I want to get this message across. So protect yourself in your egg of divine light. And I feel like I don't use the word God, Lord, Father, because they are tainted by religion and control. And there's another trap in there also. It doesn't mean I don't believe in the divine light. It's what I channel through. So the divine light for me is the absolute best, the best words that I have found to this, up to this day, to connect in with that energy of unconditional love, of oneness, and cleansing, you know, drinking pure water, clean water, highly filtered water, electrolytes important, really clearing and cleansing. And at this point I want to talk about clearing out objects that no longer serve you, that maybe you kept from gifts that you should keep. Don't do any shoulds. Tap into, hold something, pick something up and say, does this feel good to me? Is there something I don't like in it? And if you feel something physically within your body, get rid of it. If it's stirring up emotions, negative, etc., get rid of it. Only keep the things that keep the things that bring you joy. But the purest light can come out of the darkest of dark. So, you know, the world is going through this turmoil because it needs to. Things need to be brought to light, and the only way is by transmuting it, by filtering it through, not by seeing that it's going on and running away and ignoring it and hiding from it. You know, and just because someone has seen things that have come up in 2020, and obviously you don't want to keep obsessing about it. Once you've seen it and you know what's going on, you can do some further research about something else, but don't keep looking at the same horrifying things. Once you know someone's corrupt and vile and the levels that they've gone to, move on. Because what you're doing is you're raising your consciousness, otherwise you get stuck. So the whole point of this is to see with the truth, see where the lies and deceit has been, and move away from it. Don't stay hooked into those certain systems. It's very difficult because our worlds are built upon these systems. It's very difficult. But what you want to then do is start to create a different and a new way. And the way that will happen for you, because we're all individuals, some people will be involved in this in a political level, in a medical level, in a you know, there's so many different levels. You can only do what you can do. So otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a mental state of poor me, victimhood, fear. What can I do? You know, and you are powerful. So do what you can do. So for me, I'm a healer. Doesn't seem enough words. For me, I feel like I'm an alchemist. I take the dark and I transmute it into the light. And my purpose is to help you out the darkness and into the light. So I kind of not have to stay there, but I have to keep a foot in the door. And with that as well, since 2020, I mean, I came in seeing hauntings as a very young girl, but I have to keep kind of my foot in the dark to help people over. That's my role. It's not everyone's role. But I then am able to see more and more darkness. I become less affected by it. I'm not scared by it. I'm not fearful at all. But I then am able to see ways in order to crack the light, more light in. And I'm talking about in the energy realms because that's what I do. So there's so much to talk about. So what's going to happen with you becoming more conscious is you're going to see within your own sphere what is built on lies and deceit, what doesn't resonate for you anymore, because your vibration is going to change. You're going to get lighter. So it may be that the closest relationships to you are the most damaging. It may be, because the whole point of this is to become more of who you truly are, more divine, because we are all, each of us, every single one of us are facets of the divine. We each hold the highest frequency of light, and it's all very, very different because all together we form this one. So you need to become the best you that you can. No comparisons to anyone else. But if you're in circles or in jobs or in homes or whatever that doesn't allow you to be truly who you are, then it's time for those relationships to change or go. And it's really, really hard. I nearly swore then. It's really hard. And this is another level of me coming in to support you, because I've had to do it. I've had to go through it. I've had to let go of family. I have had to leave jobs. I have had to take the risk to show more of who I truly am. And that was my old fear of not being good enough, or not being worthy, or worrying about what people thought of me, or worrying about money, or worrying about losing people in my life. And it's not that I don't care now, but I'm not willing to sacrifice who I truly am anymore. And this is the same for you. So I am here asking you to be strong and honour yourself first and foremost. And we're starting to gonna possibly start to talk about boundaries here. I just want to go over the cards that kind of come up. So this is another thing as well. You will notice your community changing, people around you changing, and certain people leaving your life and new people coming in. And through this process, you know, like during the whole 2020 stuff, because it was so massive and there's so many people involved, relationships broke down that were too much, because you had people talking about what was going on, and the level of depravity that they're seeing, and other people thinking they've gone nuts, or that they're a conspiracy theorist, or whatever it may be. And you're shouting at people, look at this is crazy, look what's really going on. And other people couldn't look, you know, they were dissonant. And it's still going on now. But what happens then is you get other people that are seeing the same thing, but you're not necessarily alike, or you wouldn't necessarily be friends with those people in those circumstances. So you'll go through a phase also of leaving old people in relationships behind, new ones coming in, just because you're seeing the same stuff and it's a new connection. And then bit by bit, they will also fade. And then you'll be alone again, because there's a lot of, when you're growing, you have lots of periods, and I can talk about this on an energetic level, but what happens is your auric field, that egg of protection, breaks down, because it has to, in order to get bigger and to grow. So your auric field grows, it expands, consciousness rises, your vibration rises. So that egg breaks down, and you have to then retreat and be alone, because you're more fragile, you're more vulnerable. You're going through growth period, a period of rest, of assimilating, of letting go of old stuff and taking on new energies. And this is what happens in all these processes. So don't be afraid to let go of what no longer resonates with you. Honour yourself first and foremost. Don't look away from the darkness, because that's what everyone's been doing for far too long, and just blindly trusting, you know. Because I'm hearing people that have been awakened in 2020 and before then, but, you know, and they were the ones shouting through 2020, and then they're now in phases, hopefully, of creating new and expansion, etc. They're aware of the level of depravity. Obviously, we're not aware of every single thing that goes on with every single person, but a lot of people in that where they're at are like saying, I don't get pulled into this. And I think that's so disempowering. How are people supposed to find out if they don't research for themselves, if they don't look at the darkness? They're then being blind to it and following blindly again to what they're saying. You can't do that. Don't turn away from the darkness. If you have got to the point, awakened people, and no one's fully awakened, but if you've got to the point where you feel like you've seen it all, and that you're creating the new, then help people through. You know, allow people a voice, allow people to talk about it. You know, if you see posts where people are going on about it, let people go on about it. You know, we were shut down back in 2020 by social media, by people we know, by loved ones, you know, death threats, people calling me, see you next Tuesday. And I did not shut up for anyone. Why should I? And these people that are now talking about all this stuff, Don't be quiet for anyone. Carry on. Because what you're going to do is you're then going to have the knock-on effect to everybody else that hasn't woken up and that needs to see this stuff. And you're going to make changes. And bit by bit, these big organisations, these people that control the world are going to lose out because the people are going to stand up and say no more. We're not having it. It's a revolution. It takes a village, right? So it's the people that have the power. You've just got to become powerful again. You only become powerful by seeing through the nonsense. Oh, so which brings me into the part where I want to say, because we have here the cosmic heart, the Christ consciousness, and I'm not talking Jesus here. The word for me just doesn't. There's something in here. It aligns with religion again and control. And yes, there was a man called Yeshua who embodied the divine grace, but he was trying to say, and that archetype features in history through thousands of years, and that's because the divine, that is all of us. It's not higher power that you are connecting into. You are part of it. Look at the light coming in as I talk about this. This is just amazing. And look at the light here. Look at this. You are the Christ consciousness. The Christic consciousness is the level of divine grace that carries unconditional love. And the message that comes with that is of embodiment, to tell you that you need to embody the divine light, that you are divine, that you are that powerful to change it. And religions have come in and have been put in place by those very people that are trying to control you, because they're teaching you that you need a priest, that you need a guru, that you need someone outside of yourself in order to connect to, and I don't use the word God either, the divine light. You don't need anyone to connect to the divine light. Sometimes you might need someone like myself to listen to nudge you, or to help you with energetics, or to guide you in the right space. I'm no guru. I'm just someone that is channeling divine light that wants to show you how to do the same thing. So all that is about embodying it, becoming divine. And they have nullified and hidden and dismembered and buried the divine feminine, the Sophia, the cosmic feminine, the wisdom. They have buried that level of consciousness, that fierce energy. Oh, I could talk about another experience that I've had, and that I've the energy work that I've been doing on the planet and off planet, but I don't want to kind of take this up with that. I will. There'll be more coming for that. But the divine feminine, you've been hearing this anyway, people have been hearing it, is rising. It's not just rising, it is risen. She has been remembered on a planetary level, on a spiritual level, and now it's happening on an individual level. And what happens is that marriage of the divine masculine and feminine within you then creates the divine grace, the divine light. So this is the whole point of it, and this is what's happening. So hold your center. Know that the divine light is in here. It's not out there. And what is within here is without also. But don't look outside of yourself and forget yourself, because you will never be able to embody that light. You'll always be out there searching for a saviour, searching for the light. You are the light. Don't ever forget it. Hold your center. And now, after you've done the grieving, after you've done awakening, and I'm saying this to those that have awakened and have got kind of stuck in a space where they haven't created yet, or they haven't moved forward into their new space, is hold your power, know your power, and start to create. So yes, see what's going on. Yes, go and grieve, connect with nature, heal yourself, let go of what no longer serves you, let go of old relationships, old jobs, all of these things, and then allow yourself that rest and that space to grieve, and then pick yourself up. And you'll be doing this all the way along. There'll be little steps. You won't just collapse and then rest and then start anew and forget about it all. All of these things are unravel. Healing is a multi-layered experience. It never stops, unless you decide to stop and you become numb and then you don't want to grow anymore. And that's each person's decision, right? So hold your center, be the light, and start to create. Start to be curious of what's next. You start to become comfortable with the not knowing of not knowing what's next, and to connect with your heart space and your soul, and to feel into okay, that job doesn't resonate with me anymore. What actually sparks me up? What lights me up? And you might get stuck in this. You might have become so numb and stuck in, I was going to say the trudgery. That's not even a word, is it? The the everyday rubbish that people do. So it may be that you need to do some creative things. You might need to go to a painting class or a pottery class or a gardening class or whatever it may be, or music or dancing, whatever it may be that sparks up your creativity so that you find joy. Because throughout all this darkness, you've got to have joy. You absolutely have to. So put on music that moves you, put on music that lights you up, do the things that make you happy, and that will spark that joy in your heart so that you start to follow that path, your path, the inner path. And so you can start to actually live. I've said to my son, don't do what anyone else expects of you. Don't choose a job that just brings in the money or focuses on the material. Do what lights you up, because you'll never work a day in your life. I've done loads of jobs. I was a nurse for 18 years, and yes, it was a bit of a vocation, and it was the healer in me and the fixer. I learned a lot during my nursing career, but it did not light me up. I loved helping people, but it's the system and, medication and all of the other crap that goes along with it. So I let that go as a main breadwinner, and that was hard. And trusted that, because I've always been a healer, and I've been doing readings since I was a teenager, and I've been doing healing for over 20 years, and I trusted fully in who I really was and went for it. And I don't feel like I ever have to work. What I do is can be tough sometimes, and what you don't see behind the scenes is my everyday life is living it all. When I do a healing for someone, I might get nudges, because the spirit always testing me and always upgrading me, because I'm devoted. And the spirit will be giving me stuff on the astral plane, dreams. I'll be getting pain in my body telling me about this next client, etc. Because I'm not only working on one client, I'm working on a collective consciousness, because that's what I've chosen to do on the earth plane. I'm going off piste, because I don't want to turn it to me, but I often share my stories in order to relate, so that you can see that I've been through something, or that nudges something in you that will help you go forward. Because I'm not just coming from a place of reading books or listening to whatever is being trolled out on social media from so-called awakened people. I live it, So follow your curiosity, follow your joy, follow your passion, and start to co-create with the universe, with the divine. This is so important, and this is the whole point of it. But don't deny the darkness, don't deny the shadow. Don't deny the things that you need to sort out. It's important. It's really important. So I wish you well on your journey. And I know it's tough. I've been through it. I go through it. Because it's just not a one-time awakening, But this is massive. This is huge. So anyhow, I think I'm going to leave it there. If you need any help, if you need a reading to tap into the energy that's going on around you, and ways to help you onto your high soul path, because that's the whole point of my readings. I don't do a reading to tell you the future, or so that comes up, obviously. But what I will do is I will do a reading and tapping into your energy for your highest soul path, so that you may move into it. But it's your decision ultimately at the end of the day. There's many different paths you can take. I will always work with your highest soul path, because that's what I want. If we were all on a highest soul path, wow, what a world it would be. So, and this goes the same for my soul alchemy work. If you need a healing session at a distance, which is just as powerful, or sometimes even more so, or in person in Essex, then get in touch, go onto my website and book in. It's deep stuff, clearing old patterns out, black magic, curses, ancestral patterns, you name it. So anyway, I'm going to leave that with you, and I send you lots of love and a huge amount of divine light, and may you embody it, may you become all of who you truly are. And take care. Lots of love. Bye.